This is the Unsweetened Truth with Kristen Pucci, where we talk about everything but don't sugarcoat anything. I think just growth.
Yeah.
Befores and afters. And because I know both of us are very into therapy.
We are.
Self-discovery,
100%.
self-awareness, self-healing. I've done a lot of inner child work. Have you done any of that yet?
We're working on it.
Just getting there. It's a big deal.
If
you have the opportunity to do it. But just know that every painful, difficult thing you've ever been through is literally going to get shoved backwards out of your body, up through your throat, and then you're going to cry it out. No, it's great. But no, it's good. It really is good. It was like, if you want the quickest bang for your buck,
that's the way.
Inner child therapy. I would say inner child healing. I've done a lot of it. I did a lot of it, and then you never have to do it again because you just like get it out. But it is painful. But you and I are very into that, and we talk about that a lot, and that's a big priority for us. And maybe just talk about why that's such a priority for you. And then we can kind of
super good.
The deepness of it.
So I think it goes. You've articulated it in earlier in the conversation in regards to loving yourself. For me, I think that has been it's still a continued journey.
Yeah.
And why it is important to me is because I believe that kind of that concept of the stronger that I have like an understanding of myself, the more able I am able to communicate that with a partner and able to kind of share in those kinds of things. Yeah. So for me, it's been really, really important to know and learn more about myself so that way in the future I can, connect with someone that really does see me for who I authentically am and accepts me for that. Going back to the too much, like that kind of dynamic. So it's just been really important for me, and it is important for me. Yeah. To really love myself. And that feeling of constantly like seeking love and feeling unloved, that is within me. That is, that's a super big thing. I think that a lot of very successful women share that. Agreed. I have noted that amongst
they're barriers.
Many of my...
You get into your own way. Yeah. And you see that a lot in business. Yeah. I'd say mine for why I originally got into it is like, I wanted to become more like all the people that were good to me.
I love that.
And less like all the people that weren't. And because you have those people sprinkled throughout your life. Do you know what I mean? That like meet you in the ways that you need to be met and fill gaps and voids that you needed. And you learn a lot in life and in business and in relationships. Like I think the people that are good to you teach you just as much as the people that aren't good to you. And so those that aren't good to you, those are typically the things that we hold deep and shove them down and, all that. And I just knew exactly who I didn't want to be because I had experience with them. Yeah. And I think I knew if I didn't get it out of me or I didn't heal myself from it or I didn't go through the painful stuff, I'm just going to pass it to my kids that I don't even have yet that I love more than anything. Yeah. And I don't even have them yet. Or maybe I'll never have them. Yeah. But then I won't pass them to my niece or my nephew or, my friends' kids or my friends or my employees or whatever it is. Like it's not that bad going through all of it. Yeah, yeah. It's not that bad.
I mean, it is intense, but it's not bad.
It's intense, but it's not bad. You already went through the hard stuff. You went through it.
Yeah, yeah. You lived the thing.
You lived the thing. Yeah. Now you just got to talk about it. Yeah. Like you lived the thing. And it's scary and whatever, but then it's done.
Yeah. So how has your healing journey then impacted your dating now? So we talked about that from an age perspective, that you have more experience. So you're viewing things in a different way. Your lived experience is coloring. Yeah. That. How has your healing journey impacted your dating life? And we kind of alluded to this a little bit in the like what we accept, what we tolerate. But for you, from your perspective, how does that feel?
So I read a really good book that I think everyone should read. It's called A Hole in Your Love Cup. It's fabulous. It's some long name. His name's Sven Vlander. The Badass Counselor. Badass Counseling Show or whatever. He's amazing. Don't go to him though if you're not ready to get like your ass kicked.
Got it.
He is someone that deals with like high profile CEOs, high level athletes, celebrity. Like he's expensive. You got to read the book and go through a bunch of steps before you can even submit that you want to go work with him. Like he is amazing. And I read his book and he talks about this concept of like cement and that you have this shit that's just like lodged in your cement that are just deep rooted beliefs about yourself. Mm-hmm. Things that you believe, and there's usually like 8 of them or something like that most people are believing. I am not worthy. I am unlovable. I am that. Like there's these lies that you tell yourself, and imagine a world of dating when your filter that you're looking everything through is I am unlovable.
Yeah.
And that's what I was doing for a very long time. Whether it was I am unlovable, I am unworthy, those lies that you just hear. And like when I mean you filter, like you literally have, when you are walking through this earth unhealed, you have these glasses on that are just, you see everything through this hurt lens.
Yeah.
So that's how my relationships have changed. I took the glasses off.
Yeah.
So instead of looking at this relationship as, oh, this guy's not talking to me as much as I got to talk to him more. I got to figure out why. Now I'm like, you're not talking to me as much as I'd like you to be. We're not a fit.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with saying bye, saying no, having a boundary, going, you aren't meeting my needs.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that now, when before I was more scared of being unlovable. Mm-hmm. So I would say that when you get all that muck and like junk out of you, mm-hmm. you see more clearly and realize a lot of the way you're treated by other people has nothing to do with you.
Yeah, for sure.
You did not answer me. You didn't ghost me because I did something wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
You ghosted me because of you.
That's right.
There's information I don't know.
That's exactly right.
Chalk it up to there is information I don't know.
Yeah,
you got another girl somewhere. You got a wife.
We don't know.
Who knows? You died? I don't know. Like there's information I don't know. But if I know in my heart of hearts as a regular healthy human being that I didn't do anything, you did not ghost me because of me.
Yeah.
So that for me is how it's changed my dating. I'm seeing things more clearly. I'm able to analyze somebody more clearly. I'm able to analyze my own feelings more clearly without all that shit and those filters getting in the way.
Yeah. I think that the latter part is probably the biggest thing for me, is that I understand myself more. Mm. And so then that helps me be able to communicate to someone, you know, like, hey, I'm feeling this way, or here's that kind of a thing, which I still struggle with, like, in full disclosure. And I think that that's an important side note, is that healing is a constant journey. Mm-hmm. So
you're never healed.
Correct. Exactly.
You just operate better than you did before when you were real fucked up.
Yep, that's exactly right. And the way that I think about it was, I did an aerial yoga class earlier this year, and I was talking
that wasn't one thing. Oh, that was one I was gonna go to.
Yes, correct.
Oh, we were going to that concert?
Yeah.
That's all right.
And so when we did the aerial yoga class, I was talking to the yoga instructor, and I said, I'm not good at yoga. I was like, it's not really my thing. Like, I'm not flexible, I don't think. And she was like, okay. And she was like, well, yoga is a practice. She was like, it is constant, and you are always practicing it. You are always working at it to have it be more connected to you, to
the movements
better, to open up in both, you know, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. Like, there is no Olympic achievement in yoga because there is no mastery of it. Mm-hmm. It's a
You've
practice.
Never arrived.
And that's very much how I feel about healing.
That's good.
Is that, you know, it's a practice. So you continue on your journey and you continue to do that. And I think that one of the things for me that is, I was just talking about this in my therapy, that is a stumbling block is, you know, as a high achiever, I'm kind of like always doing these things, and I want to like hit these metrics and do all of that kind of stuff. And I find myself wanting that inside of my relationships, right? Like really trying to be this high achiever inside of my relationship, which I think is not super healthy all the time, right? So it's really, really important for me to like take a moment, and like that's why therapy is great.
Yeah.
Because it's an objective space where you can just sit back and say like, here's how I'm feeling. And then you start to like work on, okay, well, why are you feeling that way? I mean, my therapist is so great at like calling me out to the carpet.
That's good.
Like in the most loving way, right? Mm-hmm. Like in kind and loving and gentle way. And to your point about inner child stuff. But that to me, the healing part of it is really this like constant journey, this constant practice of like understanding. And I think really and truly understanding that, to your point, there is no ED at the end. There's no I am healed. Mm-hmm. There is like, you know, I feel better. I'm healing and I feel better than I ever have before. Yeah. Right? And giving yourself the grace to understand that something can trigger you. And I don't mean, now that word I feel like not gets overused, but gets highly used in regards to like, oh, that was so triggering to me. But a triggering can also just be like something that it's a tiny shift. And then you find yourself kind of going down a road that you've gone down before. Yeah. And so I think it's really, really good to be mindful of that kind of thing and be able to kind of like bring it back to the, you know, who are you authentically? What does your inner you need, want, understand, you know, all of those kinds of things. So for me, when I think about dating and healing, I think about how critical it is to be on that journey. In order to provide the best version of myself to a potential partner. Because for me, when I think about, this is for me, I am only interested in a monogamous relationship, right? Yeah. So because I want to be truly partnered with someone in that way, I want them to be, you know, healing and a kind of that on that same
meeting you there.
Yeah, meeting me there. And
you're on that journey together.
Correct. Yeah. Self-discovery, like separately we are, you know,
well, it's like this ego. People. It's like just, you know, losing.
Yeah, it is. Ego. Yeah, it really, really is.
So my counselor, I had a Christian counselor that I went to years and years ago. It was my first experience with therapy. And she said something that was awesome. Like, and it was kind of talking about what we talked about before when it's like, the only common denominator is you. Like you're in these really unhealthy relationships like over and over and over again. And she's like, unhealthy will meet unhealthy. Healthy people are not in relationships with unhealthy people. Now you might not be unhealthy in the same way. Mm-hmm. Let's say he's like yelling and screaming and fighting and physically abusing you. Well, there was a reason you're okay staying with that.
Totally. Yep.
And I'm not casting any judgment.
No.
I've been with that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I was like, why am I being with that again and again and again and again and again and again? Why am I being with that over and over and over again? And so when we talk about like what's different between why you were dating then and what you're dating now and that growth is like, I kept doing that over and over and over again. And I'm like, okay, either I am this magnet for these types of men, or I allow it. Yeah. What is it in me?
But you literally are, right? Kind of going to the unhealthy
people. I am a magnet for that. You are beautiful. You are successful. You are fun. You refill their tank. You are full of energy. You attract every type of man that there is. Right. However, you're letting those ones
filter through.
You're letting them take your time.
Yeah. Come on in.
So what she talked about was how when two unhealthy people, there's two analogies she came up with. One was dancing. And she's like, when you're dancing one way and you're living one way, let's say that it's like you're tangoing together. Yeah. She's like, and then one partner, one person, one of the dancers becomes healthier. They start waltzing. Yeah. The tangoer is like, what the heck?
Yeah. We've always tangoed.
Why are you doing this new dance now? Totally. They're getting upset with you. You're mourning that you are feeling different, but you don't know why. Yeah. But you don't want to tango anymore. Now you want to waltz. Now you've seen this way of waltzing. And so I learned that that's something that happens with all friendships and all relationships. You can yawn on the podcast, Marissa.
I am yawning. 5 o'clock came real
late,
early.
Guys. We are committed. We got a ring light. There is no sunshine. We are committed to the podcast. But like when you start dancing differently, everything around you starts dancing differently. And then the other analogy she gave me was 2 ticks, no dog. So she's like, well, think about it. With a tick, you know, they attach themselves to a dog and they suck the blood. That's the host.
Yeah.
What if there's no host?
Yeah.
And you're just these 2 ticks and you're just sucking the blood from each other and it just keeps filtering back and forth and back. And that's an unhealthy relationship.
Yeah.
Is you're meeting each other's needs. Somehow you're meeting each other's needs.
Yeah.
And they're unhealthy needs.
Yeah.
They're unhealed needs.
Yeah.
They're whatever they are, but you're meeting each other's needs. And that's when you really have to think to yourself. And I love the transformations that happen in people's lives when they get sick of their own shit. Because that's when you just change. When you're like, I'm done feeling this way.
Totally.
I'm done waking up to this. I'm done going through this cycle. I'm done. And that's, I think, when healing starts. So if you're not there yet, or you're just, thinking, or maybe you're tiptoeing in, or you're not really sure, like, you'll get there. You'll get sick of your own shit.
Yeah, for sure.
And you'll get sick of the red flags, and you'll get sick of the patterns, and you'll get sick of how you feel.
Yeah.
You'll just get sick of how you feel, and then things will change.
Yeah, I think that the getting sick of it, like the pattern piece, right? Like where you're just like, oh, right on time. It's been 120 days and we haven't had an issue. Now here we are. And that kind of a thing. I appreciate the 2 ticks, no dog, but I really like the transformation piece. Because I think that happens for us as we continue to experience life, where we have these other interactions with other people, with the world, and something like that. And there is, something that illuminates inside of us, and we feel this difference. And so, to your point, then we start to add a new step to our dance, and our partner's like, we don't do that step.
Or I don't know how to do
right,
that step.
I don't know how to do that step. And so, like,
we didn't talk about that. We didn't discuss that.
Like, what are you doing? Right? Like, kind of a something. And there's that discomfort. And a true partner in a healthy relationship says, let me see that. Let me see that step.
Can you show me how to do that
Excuse
step?
me?
You look real good doing that step. I want to look real good doing that step. I want to do that step with you.
Yes. Or you look really great doing that step. That's a solo move for you. I'm here to clap for you, right? Like whatever that thing is. Yeah, or I'll get there,
practice.
Right?
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of things that are applicable in that way. I think for me, like one of my most toxic relationships was definitely centered around like that person not wanting me to actually grow. There was a real facade, for lack of a better term, and since we've used it here, of I support you. I want you to be like the best at your thing. And yes, you should totally do that thing. But then when it would come down to me asking really pointed questions about, achievement and help and things like that, silence, right? Like there wasn't that kind of opportunity to do that. It was this like real kind of like faux show in order to, I think, placate me. Now
keep you around.
Yeah, now that I've had some distance from it, to really placate me so that I would stay around. And I think also so that they would feel like they were always the one in control of the situation and what was happening.
Well, I saw a quote the other day I thought it was interesting, and it was how like an insecure man can't be with a beautiful woman. And you can think of that as outwardly or inwardly. I don't think it really matters.
I agree.
A beautiful woman. Because they don't want them to be beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you want them to just be beautiful enough. Beautiful enough.
Yeah.
And I think for all women, and even if you are an insecure person and you're with someone that is secure, you know what I mean? You might not both meet each other in your insecurities, but people that are insecure just in general, you're making that very hard on your partner.
Yeah.
You're making that super hard on your partner. And so women like us that are highly successful, out in the world, doing all of these things, we can't be with insecure men.
Yeah.
Like we need to have men that are secure in who they are. They got to have their own thing going on. They have to, you know what I mean?
Totally.
They have to, because if not, you are going to feel this big next to me, just from existing.
Yeah.
Not because I'm trying to make you feel that way. Not because but you will feel unworthy of me. You will feel unworthy of I'm going to have all these cool things. You're going to feel like we have to compete in some way, that you're competing with me. We're not competing. I don't want to compete with you.
Totally.
I want to do great, cool things with you.
Yep.
But that would be like maybe a tip or whatever that I would give is that I don't think anybody should be with an insecure person. Everybody has their insecurities. Totally. Okay. Make that clear.
For sure.
Everybody has their insecurities.
Got 'em.
Yeah, we all do.
Yep.
But like someone who is like very wholeheartedly insecure about all sorts of stuff, you're making it very difficult on your partner to be able to be their true selves and their full selves. And so yeah, just look out for that. Yeah. I would say.
Yeah, I think
feeling like you can't be your full self.
Yeah, and
because you're gonna make them feel less.
That goes to the being healed enough to like kind of recognize those things, and to your point, to separate it from like having insecurities and being insecure, right? Like that kind of a something. When you're in the healing journey, you understand those tiny kind of nuances in that language, because you are seeing things from a more holistic perspective as it pertains to you. Yeah.
There's a difference between I hate my legs and I hate me.
Totally.
And you just have to be able to be self-aware enough, hopefully, to see the difference in that. Yeah. And there's all sorts of people that are difficult to be with, but that's something that I've definitely struggled with because, again, we attract all sorts of people. Yeah. And that's been a huge thing for me is competition, being in competition with me and what I'm accomplishing and what I'm doing and it's like I'm not in competition with you.
Yeah. Have some of your most toxic relationships been related to that kind of competition or that kind of a thing? Like where that was a pretty constant refrain in the relationships?
I'm scanning my brain. That was a whole mind fuckery of it all because I started my business when I was with him. Mm-hmm. So when I would like to say my greatest and most impressive self was when I was with him. Mm-hmm. And he also owned businesses and he did things and he pushed me to do it, which I have a lot of gratitude now for that incredibly toxic relationship. I have a ton of gratitude for it because I wouldn't even be sitting here right now. Absolutely. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have this podcast.
Totally agree.
If he didn't push me to do that. And in the beginning, tell me that I could. But where I'm saying the mind fuckery at all is that towards the end, it all flipped. It was all different. Yeah. It was too much. I was working too much. I was becoming too much. And so it was like you wanted me to be successful and you wanted to tell me I could do it. But then when I did it and I did it too well, then you're like, hold on.
But what it really was like good. On his terms, right? Like he wants you to be successful on his terms. Correct.
And maybe he did see it. Almost like God, like it's almost like if you could look into someone's brain. Oof. It's almost like I bet you if I could, there was something like, yeah, she could do this. This could be really good. I could keep her at the house all day. Mm-hmm. She could work from home. This could. And then it was like, she's pretty good. She could figure out how to do this. Yeah, she can get a couple clients. Like she could. And then it was like, boom. And he was probably like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
She found her confidence. She found her this. She found her that. She found all of these things. And I would say that caused a lot of issues with us then as I became this uber, because I was coming off the tail end of a unhealthy relationship and I went right into another unhealthy relationship. So...
Well, don't you think that goes back to the dancing analogy where like you started to gain those new dance moves and instead of embracing them in some way and being like, man, I love that, Kristen has these new relationships that are really fulfilling her.
And she's happy.
Yeah, and she's happy. That it was like
you need to step off the gas a little bit.
Yeah. Are you sure that girl has the best intentions for you? Right? Like
we could talk about that. But yeah, I would say that was with him. And I'm trying to think. And then I would say my other worst was he just hated his mom. Oof. He hated his mom. That's another thing I would say is that, like, I know that you don't really want the person who's, like, still attached to their mother. Totally. But you really also do not want the person that hates their mom and has a really bad relationship with their mom. There's, like, a direct correlation between that and, like, severe, severe abuse and narcissism. And if they just have a hatred for their mom.
Yeah.
There's typically close hatred for women,
For
and
sure.
there's a very much so hatred for you. And that was a very dangerous relationship that I was in for about 2-ish years. Very just emotionally, and it took a while. And I didn't. It's funny how you say that you kind of get those bursts of like slowly waking up.
Yeah.
Like, there was a couple of instances that happened with him that I just remember being like,
Yep.
And it's funny when I pray. This is funny, right? Because everybody has a different relationship with God.
Yeah.
And they talk to him in different ways. Me and God are like homies.
Yeah.
So like we talk like, hey, it's kind of like, you know, and he'll be like, I know. So that's how we talk.
Love.
Versus like people that are like, you know, no shame, but that's how we talk.
Yeah.
That's how me and God talk. But it's funny when I talk to him about men, about like, if this isn't my person, I always pray that like prayer that I'm like, this is not my person, like remove him from me no matter how much I try to, like whatever. But it's funny that like I used to have this prayer that I would be like, give me a sign. Mm-hmm. And then I would be like, but God, you got to make it a big sign. Like you got to make it, literally, I would say to God, you need to make it a big red blinking sign with letters because you know your girl ain't going to see it.
Yeah.
I said, you know me, you know my heart.
Yeah.
And you have calculated in my stupidity. And you know that if this isn't loud enough or big enough, she's going to miss it. Yeah. Or she'll go, maybe that wasn't from God. It's got to be loud.
Yeah.
And boy, does he deliver. So it's like, it's sad that you have to get to that.
Sure.
That you're like, God,
it's
let him hurt
flag.
me. Yeah, it's like, God, let him hurt me so bad that I will let go of this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know how we got there, but
yeah,
I think those two relationships are interesting. I have a lot of gratitude for them now, but they were very, very difficult.
Yeah.
Then.
Well, I think that the bridge to the toxicity is then, you know, how that when you've been in toxic relationships, then it can be challenging when you get inside of a healthy relationship.
Here we go. She's cooking. Yikes, people.
Right? So, I mean, for me, I think that there are these things where you kind of second guess someone's behavior because it has been inauthentic in the past.
Or you didn't the first time.
Or you didn't the first time, and now you're like, well, I'm going to question it now. Yeah.
But you do everything you can to not repeat something you did
exactly
before.
Right. That's exactly right.
And those are your glasses.
Yep, that's exactly right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are your glasses.
Yeah. But I think that that's a pretty consistent thing. So, like, when you're in a healthy relationship after being in a toxic relationship, I think that what's really, really important is one of the things I would say is to really see the person for who they are, not project who you have been with in the past. Now, people, I get it. That happens.
People.
We all do it. Received.
Potential.
Correct. But you really have to give them the grace to, like, be who they are and show you who they are without being like, well, these three dudes that looked like you, that like were in the same business as you, right? Like those kinds of things. They all did this. Yeah. You really, really do. And I think that when you are, you know, when you are healthier, when you are on that journey, you are able to kind of do that. And I think it goes to something that you said earlier, which is like, okay, you didn't call. We are not aligned.
Yes.
You know,
I like to compare it to dogs.
Yes, let's.
So, let's say you were a little kid. You walked up to a dog. You cornered it in a bookstore. Specifically, it was a small little white dog.
Yep.
You know, you're 5, little curly hair, cut in a dress. You walk up to it, you corner it, and it bites you.
Yeah.
And then you don't learn, so you're 7. Now we're going and hang out with another dog. That dog bites you. Then maybe you do it again. Or what do you start to learn? Dogs bite you.
Yeah.
So I think when you go through unhealthy relationship, toxic relationship over and over and over again, you learn that dogs bite you. You learn that men hurt. You learn that relationships hurt. You associate love to hurt.
Yeah.
And it's unlearning. Getting rescue dogs taught me that.
Yeah.
Because seeing how they come to you, might get them as a puppy. You typically don't. You typically get them a little under 1, or you make it a senior dog.
Yeah.
And that literally taught me that seeing how you have to learn the animal, it's so parallel to humans who've been in unhealthy relationships.
For sure.
That you have to learn, like, okay, Remy doesn't really love.
Right.
When you pick her up and you squeeze her real tight.
Yeah.
There must be something there. I know I'm giving you a hug.
Right. Absolutely.
But to me, it feels like when you squish me so hard, my ribs broke.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Like, I know that she doesn't like when you swing a hand really fast over her head. And it's like, okay, why would a hand have been swinging really quick over your head?
Yeah.
Maybe she got hit.
Right.
And, you know, she doesn't like the way that certain people look, or when they have hats on and they take their hat off real quick. Maybe she was hit with a hat.
Yeah.
And so I've learned so much about human behavior through toxic and healthy relationships, being in a healthy one. I'd like to consider myself a healthy household for my dog. But, like, I know what I'm doing is good and the benefit of her, and she's still scared of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because she hasn't had enough time to learn that, okay, Rem, Mom's not going to hit you when she takes her hat off. Mom's not going to do this. Mom's not going to be. And then over time they get better and they unlearn this, you know, fearful, scary things that they had going on. But it was amazing that with both of those dogs, I would say it healed me in my own.
Totally.
That saw, because I was on the opposite side of it. Right. I've never been on the opposite side of it before.
Right. That perspective.
I've always been on I'm the damaged person going into a healed thing. Right. When it's like, now I'm taking care of something that is majorly damaged. I'm the healthy person trying to show it love, and it thinks I'm trying to hurt it.
Yeah.
And it takes time to go through that. But having that has like freed me up so much perspective on being on the other side. But it's hard. It is hard though. It is hard. I deal with it all the time. You hear things a certain way. You see things a certain way. Totally. You want to avoid every type of relationship, situation, conversation, observation that you dealt with before.
Yeah.
And then God forbid something even remotely feels like something that happened before.
Yeah.
You're going to have this crazy reaction. And the same therapist, Miss Lori, she's great. She used to say to me, sounds like you're having a $500 reaction to something that deserves $125.
Yeah, it's so powerful.
And I'd be like, you're right.
Yeah.
I shouldn't really get this worked up about this. But I'm loud and I'm sobbing, I'm whatever. And it's like, what are you really reacting to?
Yeah.
Where is this coming from? You're not overreacting, but I mean, you are, but why?
Yeah. Well, I think that goes back to our conversation about the rub, right? Like in making the rub into something bigger. It's like it feels this like kind of little something, but then you're kind of like, but is that okay? Mm-hmm. You know, like, but it, and it's like, yeah, it might be okay in this instance, right? Because you're inside of a healthy relationship and it's okay that they wear slides to the gym. And
this is her talking. My mic's off. Sure, it's okay. It's all right if they wear slides because they don't beat you. Just kidding. Justice for the slides with the men. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, because, you know, the bigger thing is that then you can be like, you know, you can maybe just have the conversation in a stronger way. And I think that when you are in a healthy relationship after having been in toxic ones, I think my biggest piece of advice is to like make sure that you are giving yourself grace and that you are really seeing the person for who they are and not the projection of all of the people that have come before them.
And communicate.
Oh,
you got to communicate a lot. You really, really got to communicate a lot. And it feels so scary and it feels so difficult, but you have to communicate. Like you have to, it's okay that you're having these big feelings. It's okay that you are feeling everything that you're feeling. It's okay that it's just not okay to act a certain way because of the feelings. So it's like you have to communicate. And it's okay in a normal health. Like this was crazy. This is something big to learn. Like, I'm feeling kind of insecure right now.
Yeah.
Instead of, in the unhealthy relationship, what do? I'm going to go make him jealous. I'm going to go drive past his house.
Yeah,
I'm going to stalk him here. I'm going to be... Unhealthy behaviors versus just coming to your partner and just being like, I'm just feeling a little insecure because like I saw that you were talking with this girl and like it just...
Yeah. But in fairness, I think that's when you a truly healthy relationship, you are, to your point about communication, like you are able to kind of feel like no matter what you say, that it is safe.
It could be the craziest shit.
Exactly.
It could literally be like, this is funny. This is when I knew I healed, right? Because when you're in an unhealthy relationship, you're like embarrassed of the fact that you're like, I stalked the heck out of your Instagram and I looked at every single ex that you ever had, and I've looked at every follower that you had, and you follow a bunch of women. And now I'm in a place that I'm like, here's the deal.
Yeah.
I looked at it. Your ratio ain't good.
That's right. That's right.
Who follows you and who you follow?
Not good.
Ain't good.
Yeah.
So, actually, honestly, now I probably wouldn't even pursue that type of relationship.
Yeah.
But let's pretend I'm like in between. I'm in between healed Kristen and unhealed Kristen, right? I would be like, what are we going to do about that?
Yeah.
Because that's not great. Mm-hmm. And I don't need to explain to you why that's not great, because you're smart enough.
Yeah.
And so I just think like setting that boundary and communicating that to someone is just good. And it really could be insane. And like I feel that I'm in a place now that I could say to someone and be like, I'll be honest with you. I got really insecure last night because we haven't talked in 3 days, and I scrolled to 2005 on your Instagram.
Might have double-hearted something.
No, well, not even. I scrolled to 2005, and I saw that you had your arm around this girl in high school, and it just really made me feel insecure. And now I'm going down a rabbit hole. Yeah. About how she is brown hair, and
I'm a blondie,
and I'm a blonde.
Yeah.
And she's a crazy workout girly, and I'm not.
Yeah.
And now I'm just down this rabbit hole, and I just don't feel good about myself. You have to be able to say that and have your partner meet you there and just go, babe, you're crazy. Let's talk about it. That was Peggy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean, though?
Sure.
That, like, your partner can meet you there and just be like, girl, you're crazy.
So Kristen is more healed than Marissa because...
I went to 2005. I picked a fucking fight.
I think more...
Actually, I haven't even brought it up yet. I've been stewing on it for 6 months. Which one am I right about?
Oh my gosh. No. Just more in the sense of like the ability to say that, kind of a something.
It's hard.
It is. It's super, super hard.
But it's how they receive it though too. Because if they receive it in a way that they're like, oh my God, Kristen, again, you're so like
for
you're
sure. I'm never saying
trust
again.
and believe. I will never talk. I will never bring anything up ever again.
Correct.
I'll never bring anything up. But if they meet you with the babe.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't call me silly. That's weird.
For
but
sure.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a not ick.
Yeah.
Silly.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
No, for sure. I think one of the things that I'm starting to notice about myself is that I will give that, but I need time to kind of process it for how I feel in myself. So there's like an immediate thing that happens, right? Like where there's a something that kind of bubbles up inside of me.
Oh, where?
I've seen it. I've seen it live and in person.
Firsthand. Now, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What are you doing in that time?
Ruminating.
Great.
Yeah. There's a heavy dose on the rumination.
And what are the thoughts that you're having?
Yeah, so the thoughts are generally
because I have an idea of what I think you're doing, but I would love to hear you say it.
This is horrible.
We don't sugarcoat anything here, everyone. Or everything, anything. All of it. Unsugarcoated.
So I think that sometimes I am thinking about how it's landing on me, right? Like I'm really thinking about like why? Like why is this?
Why do I have such a big feeling?
Why do I have such a big feeling?
Great.
Kind of surrounding all of this. I think sometimes I'm strategizing. That's what Kristen was thinking.
Oh, no, I was actually thinking of something else.
Okay.
But strategizing's good.
Yeah, so sometimes I'm strategizing.
What's my plan of attack?
Yes, what's my plan of attack?
How much sugar do I have to pour in your gas tank?
Yeah, correct. And then I spend a lot of time determining how I believe my partner will react. And really,
we were trying to navigate the reaction that hasn't occurred yet.
Correct. Yeah. Spend a lot of time doing those kinds of things. So again, I think that goes to that like healed place that, like all of those kinds of things where.
Can I ask a question?
Of course you may.
Do you feel as though during that period of time, this is what I was thinking, that you tried to convince yourself that the reaction you're having, like you might not actually feel the way that you're feeling? That if you like sit on a little bit more. Here's why I'm asking. You reposted something today or sent it to the girlies you sent it to the girlies in the group.
Oh.
And I literally was going to respond and be like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
It was one of the slides. It was like, if something bothers you in 24 hours, wait 48 hours.
Yeah. No.
Marissa, when I tell you that the Italian in me, it said some shit like that.
Yeah,
Look it up. It was like, think about it for 20. I'm telling you, if I have gone 72 hours thinking about something that has made me upset, everyone, it's the purge. Everyone needs to like batten down the hatches. Just let me walk through the streets with a bat.
Sorry.
Share it with the group.
It is, if it still bothers you after 24 hours, speak up within 48.
I can't do that.
That's okay.
Mine's like, if it bothers you in 24 seconds, speak up in 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Which honestly is also bad, though. Sometimes
Correct.
I'm like a little trigger happy, and I'll be like, this bothers me right now. So I do have that awareness.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm a little quick, and I'm like, this actually probably wasn't really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But like, I just don't do well with that. I don't do well with sitting on things, like, because I typically, my brain just doesn't it doesn't do well with that. And it will go and go and go. And by the time where it started and now where it's at 72 hours later, my gosh, we were dealing with a hamster and now we've got Godzilla.
Yeah, right. For sure. I hear and see that for you. I think that for me, I'm not really trying to convince myself that the feeling isn't there.
Sure.
I think the reason I use the word strategize is because I'm trying to figure out like,
if I have
Marissa,
to leave or if I have to get out of
what's next steps here, right? Like in this whole thing, does it look like we're having a candid and open conversation with the person that we love, or does it look like we're gonna ignore it? Are we gonna divert the conversation? Like, what are the things that we're going to do?
I resonate with that. That's major. Like, there's somebody with narcissistic, related behaviors.
Yeah, I think for me though, ultimately, the time really does help me just to evaluate the big feeling.
Good.
And really kind of like
check in with yourself.
Check in with myself. That's exactly right.
That's great.
I mean, of late, I've done a better job of
I would
communicating.
Agree. I've witnessed it firsthand. I've been right there in the car. She's doing great, everybody. That's crazy, though, that whole navigating thing, because I do that a lot.
Yeah.
But that's from, like, specific behaviors that,
Absolutely.
like, you don't know what you're going to get with somebody.
That's right. That's what I mean.
Like, there's, like, maybe 25% of the time that they responded well, but 75% of the time that they didn't, and you're just like, if I can forecast and navigate and guess what you're going to do, if I have all my ducks in a row, I will be able to, like, it's like the ultimate goalie. Like, it's literally, like, being through relationships like that, and I have been through a ton of narcissistic healing, but, like, it's like you're the ultimate goalie that it's like wherever you... I can, no matter what you got, I can catch it because I've already thought about all the places it could be and all the things that I could do. And don't worry, I have that option. Don't worry, I thought about that consequence. I have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I've got them all, and I know every plan I'm going to do. That's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
I do it as well.
It is.
And that comes from somewhere.
Yeah, it does. And I think that is... And I think that the move from the toxic relationships where you always had to do that out of like self-preservation, really,
or protection,
exactly. Like you really had to figure that out. Literally, if you think about it from that perspective, or think about it like in a boxing match, it's like your defense, right? Like your hand goes up here because you're like, oh, like I figured it out. Like, oh, I have my hands up here, but I know that if I do it this way, you're going to come in at my body, so I'm going to swing for your body. So I think that that's where that comes from. And then as you get into healthier relationships, then that starts to, it's not, you can't eliminate it necessarily, but it starts to kind of get into a place where you are, you should be working towards relinquishing that and just giving your partner the grace to have their reaction.
Let them show up for you.
Correct.
Let them show up for you.
Yeah.
Let somebody show you that they're different. Let them show you that they want to show up. Let them show that they want to confide in you, or they want to support you, or they want to, love on you.
They just want to love on you. Totally.
And just give them a shot.
Yep.
What's the worst thing that's going to happen?
Yep.
You're going to go do something bad, and you're going to get heartbroken, and then you're going to start again with somebody else. I mean, like, really, our minds are playing such a game with us. What's the worst that's going to happen?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
What else you got?
Here's the thing that I think we should really talk about. It's a fun one. Can we talk about boomerang men?
We'll go out with a fun one.
We will.
We'll go out with a fun one, everyone. And if you've stayed on this long, if this becomes one episode, contact us. We'll send you something.
We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't
but
know
something, because you deserve it, because this is a long podcast. If this becomes 2 episodes,
stay tuned.
You're out of luck, because it's quite not as long.
Yeah.
But, all right. We're going to talk about boomerangs. So would you like to explain exactly what that means for people that maybe don't know what a boomerang is?
For sure. So a boomerang, again, gender agnostic, but a boomerang is that person that like always seems to come back around in some capacity, right? So a boomerang, you throw it and it comes back to you. In this instance, we're not actually looking for the boomerang to come back.
No.
We have in fact we
were throwing a stick, hoping that it was going to stay, and then it like...
Goodbye, stick. But somehow it ends up there. And the behaviors that are associated with the boomeranging from a dating perspective are wild. People.
Insane.
Wild. So let's use a great example. Of how someone tries to boomerang back into your life. And you have just experienced this. And it happens not just on...
your birthday.
It happens, though, kind of on holidays. Right? Like any kind of sentimental...
Because there is nothing I want more than to be wished happy birthday by someone I specifically chose to no longer talk to anymore.
Correct.
Like, there is nothing more...
that you could want for your birthday.
That I want. You know what? There is nothing more than I want for my birthday. Or Christmas. You know what? Santa... please bring me
that thing I tossed away.
Thing that I literally threw in the trash. Bring me Cole.
I know, it's wild. It's wild.
It's like it's like catcalling. It's like a new variation of catcalling. Like when someone drives by and they scream at you, they catcall you, right?
Yeah.
Make sure my phone's not dead. We're good. They catcall you. Like what is the outcome you're assuming?
Yeah. What were you thinking?
Oh my God, come back, pick me up. I want to come with you.
This is why I want to have this discussion, because I think that this is so critical. So we're talking about the behaviors. So the behaviors typically look like a text in one of these things, a very random DM, a like on your Instagram, a comment, right? Like something like that.
Or 15 likes in a row.
Correct, exactly.
You need to remove them as a follower.
Correct. I would also say like a, kind of like
hey, this made me think of you.
Correct. Any kind of communication that is totally unsolicited. And targeted towards gaining your attention. This is the first step in the boomerang. Mm-hmm. So once they have hurtled themselves right back at you, it's so interesting to think about what was. We know what the motive is. The motive is to have your attention.
Thing, do we? Like, we sit here with very logical brains. Do we know what the motive is?
Yes. The motive is to have your attention, because now here's what we don't know.
Crazy.
We don't know
there is something.
We don't know because
in
I
the
miss
air.
you. Yeah.
When they know that you have moved on.
Girl, when I tell you that the universe is like...
It's like this little, it's like they have a shock collar. It's literally like there's a shock collar on them that's like Kristen's about to move on. Gotta go back. Like, it's
let me tell you.
Minutes.
By the way, I do believe that is a very real thing.
Going through a fight, that's another thing too. I mean, I have a whole reason. I think it's spiritual warfare. But
agreed. Yeah. So whatever your belief system is,
something
there
like
is
that. Some
test.
like even when like say you and your man are fighting,
yeah,
you will notice in that period of time the things that occur.
Totally. Absolutely.
Not good.
So the motive is that, right? Like your attention, like all of that kind of stuff.
Know that's true.
But what I am still pondering is your bigger question. What did you think was going to happen? Did you think that the DM that you sent me that was like, thinking about you.
Thank God.
Was going?
I've been thinking about you.
Is this what
Thank you for reaching out to me. I've been thinking about you every single day and every single night. I'm sitting at outside of your house right now.
just tell me that you
want to hang out.
Like
it works though. There's been times in my life that it's worked.
Okay, fair. In your unhealed self.
In my unhealed self, there's been times that it's worked.
For sure. Which is, to your point, why they do it. But again, you're gender agnostic. But like, I have to say that the tactics.
What tactics you got?
I mean,
I got a good tactic.
Yeah, I think
he's gonna laugh when I talk about it because I know he's gonna listen.
I think that there have been some gifting tactics that have come my way.
Like flowers?
Yep, like flowers.
I got a bone to pick with flowers.
Yeah,
all the girlies know I do
for sure. I would say a flower something. I think that just like hey, I saw this thing and it made me think of you, kind of a something. And
like you opened your eyes, you thought of me.
Yeah, so true. It's so true.
You opened your eyes.
Yeah.
You thought of me.
Yeah, and I think if you're in the same geographic area or profession or anything like that, then the boomerang just becomes like, purposefully positioning themselves. Thank you. Purposely.
What the hell is going on? What are you doing back here?
We don't know. Purposefully positioning themselves to be near you, around you, in your line of sight, anything like that. Oh, you're speaking at this place? Wonderful. I would be happy to just
I would change what I was speaking about if I knew that some people were in the crowd. We're talking about marketing and marketing and social media today?
Yeah. No, we're not.
No, we ain't. We're talking about ghosting. Okay, everybody, buckle up. I literally would change the topic. I've thought about that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to.
I want to keep going with this topic, but I just had a thought while we were talking.
Yeah, you have to.
Because of our profession of what we do, the odds of actually us speaking somewhere,
absolutely,
or seeing me on the internet or whatever, quite high. Like those jokes about like the country music songs when they're like, or Lady Gaga said, whoever said it, that was just like, you're gonna hear me on the radio.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's like you won't be able to escape me.
Yeah. It's so true. It's so
like,
true.
Could you imagine having to sit on a stage and watch your ex kill it on a stage, talking and speaking for like 4 hours?
I mean, I can't, but some of my exes have to.
Can you imagine? The thoughts.
Yeah, no, for sure. So what I find so interesting about the boomerang is the timing of the universe, right? Like the timing of all of that kind of stuff.
Wild.
And I find it, to your point about like in a fight when you maybe are battling some insecurities or something like that. And then also when you are blissfully happy. I mean, you are in the bliss bubble and everything is great. Don't you know?
They come a knocking.
Here they come, rising from the dead.
They come a knocking.
They come a knocking. Yeah.
You happy?
Yeah, for real though.
You sure?
For real. So that's some of the tactics. Tell me about a tactic of a boomerang that you have experienced.
I definitely get a lot of holidays and birthday messages.
For sure.
Flowers have just always been a thing. I feel like I have disliked flowers for a very, very long time because I've never gotten flowers because of something good. I've always gotten flowers because they did something bad.
Got it.
So, yeah, I got some flowers with a note.
Yeah.
That one worked though.
Let
that one
caught
worked.
It. Boomerang
received.
Boomerang was coming. Caught it.
That one worked. We like that one.
Yeah.
Oh God. I think like back in the day, it was the like you're out drinking. Again, it's alcohol. What did I say? Alcohol and
sex.
I'm telling you.
Alcohol and orgasms.
That's what. Yes. I'm telling you. That's like the times that I would say it would work. Like if you are not in your right frame of mind.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Like that would have been the time that it has worked. It's been a bit since it's worked.
Yeah. For sure.
That's why I'm like struggling to even think.
Well, I got to tell you.
But I just know I get messages, but I'm like trying to think.
For sure. I think for me, that's it. Like I'm just at the point now where it's kind of like amusing, where it's like, ooh, yeah, you chose on a Tuesday. You chose to get onto whatever platform. Could be a text. Could be something.
Could be a LinkedIn DM.
Could be a LinkedIn DM. And you chose to kind of say like, hey girl, what's up?
No.
Like
these are the ones I love.
Yeah.
I got one of these the other day. When it's like, hey, hope all is well, da 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 da. And then you respond with something that's like
very generic, very business.
I'm not keeping the conversation open.
Absolutely.
I ended it with a period.
Correct.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay? Like I did whatever. And just like
the end.
Good karma. I responded.
Totally right.
Period. In what world are you like, yeah, boys, I'm in? Like what about that message made you go, I'm gonna talk more?
I think it simply is the response.
I do too.
Yeah. But to your point about like
it's like
it's in my nature just to be like kind, because it's like if someone says hello to you and then you don't say hello back.
Correct. It's in my nature when somebody says thanks so much in an email, I respond and say thank you too. Okay? That's as far and as deep as it is.
Correct. Yeah.
You say thanks, I say thanks back.
Yeah.
You say hi, I say hi.
Yeah.
You say bye, I say bye.
Yeah.
Like it is that deep. And I just think that part is funny that you like say something and then they say something and then
you're like, I'm done. I was done.
What part of this did you think?
Well,
or the deep wait. I got one.
Yes.
Here's the thing. There's some men. I love that. Like my favorite animal is, or like I'm no man's. What is that? What is that one that you see on TikTok? You know what I'm talking about? Oh, I'm no man's piece.
Yeah, I'm no man's piece. Yeah.
I could start a series.
She ain't lying.
Because there's some men that like, should I probably have not responded? No, but I feel like it.
Yeah.
There was one I got last year. I was at the beach with Jess. And we were sitting on the couch. I was dealing with a whole bunch of confrontation that day. That was a lot. But there was this guy, single-handedly probably the worst boyfriend I've ever had in my entire life. And he knew it. Like, it was not a surprise.
Right.
Like, this man cheated on me. He was, like, multiple times in college. Like, we literally, it could not have been worse of a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, not saying that I'm that great, but, like, why did you even want to come back? Like, it was so, do you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, it's one of those that it's like, are you really doing that bad? Because there was nothing good about this relationship.
Yeah.
And he texted me, and I was at the beach house, and I looked at it, and I'm like, who the fuck is it? Because I don't have his number saved. I mean, he's in the graveyard. And you're like, hey, I want to catch up. I think it'd be great to see, what you're up to now and whatever. And I literally responded to him, and I was like,
no.
I said, I'm not going to say his name. Yeah, fuck it. I said, Chris, you were single-handedly the worst relationship I've ever had in my entire life. I said, you physically pushed me across a parking lot.
Yeah.
You did this. You did that. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's a never.
But you know what, guys? He didn't respond.
Yeah, right.
So that must have been... There must be too much attention, too.
Yeah,
there must be this, like, just a little bit of attention.
No positive attention.
No attention.
Positive attention.
No attention. Not good.
Yeah.
Too much attention. Also good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I just remember being like, and he just never responded. But that one was wild. It was just like, why do you even want it? Like, you want it? What good memories do you have?
Yeah.
Like even from your perspective, like even though I was not like, because everybody, you know, you both treat each other bad, but like, I don't want to say that I was the victim because I wasn't. But like, what are you?
Why? Why would you want it back?
Help me understand what your good memories are, because like I don't
totally.
Even if I put myself in your shoes.
So I feel like this is a really great place to start winding it up, and I'm gonna use the language that we use in business, which I think would be so great as a response.
This is something so funny that I love about you.
What?
This is my podcast.
Sorry.
And she is winding it up. Like, no. But I love it. Like, I love that you're like, we're done. Guys, I'm tired.
Hello?
It's 9:38.
9:38.
I know. We started late. We had to chit.
We had to chit chat.
But I love that about you. I love that you're like, let's wind this up. Take the lead.
But
I'm tired of leading. You go.
I'll tell you why. Because it's something that we both use, and I think it's so applicable here, and it's a great takeaway. It's a great way to end and think about this.
Great.
So when a boomerang comes in and you're fielding it, I think this is a great opportunity to kind of say, what was your intention in sending that message? Because I can guarantee you that...
Imagine if you're saying ask that.
Yes. That's what I'm saying, people.
That is good.
That's what I'm saying.
I bet you 90% wouldn't respond.
Correct. And that's my point. Boomerang, blocked.
I bet you 90% wouldn't respond because they'd be like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. Boomerang, blocker. What was your intention in sending this message?
I mean, let's break it down. 50% won't even know what you're talking about. They're not self-aware enough to recognize. They will be like, intention?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Know.
They don't even know my intention.
What did I think was going to happen?
50% you just put down a self-reflection rabbit hole. They're never coming back. Then we got the last 50%. 90% of them aren't even going to answer.
Correct.
And the last 10%
are going to give you the truth. And the truth might be, I was thinking about you, and I
just a little bored. My wife just left.
My wife left.
My wife just left. I was a little bored.
Yep.
And
totally. Yep, that's exactly right.
Ugh, that's good.
Yeah, that's super good.
All right, we always got to leave the people with something good.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm eager.
So today, I would like you to. Oh lordy. You know what I think you should do?
I'm ready.
I think we should leave them with something that's very Marissa-y.
Okay.
You should leave them with a good word
to
use if they're talking to a toxic man. If they're in a fight with a toxic man, we need a good Marissa's word of the week.
Man.
That they could throw into an argument.
Putting me on the spot. So
I think you should share with everyone our favorite word.
Well, I will. This is the word. This is the word of.
It's a word of the year.
The fact we
this
both
deserves more than a month. You guys, I'm telling you, when you hear this word,
just be ready. Just be ready.
It's gonna change your life. All right, I'm ready.
So the word is de minimis, and it means, in essence, that whatever you have just said is of basically no value. It means nothing in the context of this conversation. It is irrelevant as it pertains to the discussion at large. Mm-hmm. So it is just
useless.
It
could not be more useless. How would you use it in a sentence? In a fight. You're in a fight with a toxic man.
Not to be toxic, but I might
go for it.
I might say something like, I appreciate the observation that you just made
of my behavior and
shared with me. I find it to be de minimis. And then you just let the mic fucking drop.
Thank you. Thank you, Marissa. If anybody has really connected with this podcast today and they want to get in touch with you, what form of communication? Don't give them your phone number. Don't give them your email. But
obviously. We'll go with LinkedIn. LinkedIn.
Here's the deal.
We've had people say 821
410.
LinkedIn is the best place to get me. It's where I do a lot of updating. Where
you're on it all the time.
Find me. Yeah,
active girly.
Yeah, active girly. So LinkedIn is the best. Marissa Bankert.
Awesome. Thanks, Marissa, for coming on today. It has been a blast. My cheeks hurt.
Yeah, same.
Good.
Love.
Thanks so much, everyone, and tune in for next week's episode. Dude, we killed it. All right, pausing it.